law that we're dealing with, they spit on it.
A lot of people's budgets are getting squeezed right now so hard that they can't pay their debts, and unfortunately some bad debt collectors are preying on them.
But the good news is you do have rights when it comes to debt collectors. Christine Sorensen joins us now to explain. Christine.
Well, Ken and Stephanie, some debt collection companies are so desperate they resort to scare tactics, demeaning, threatening, frightening people, sometimes scamming them too. I talked with a local woman who's fighting back and wants everyone to know you have rights too. Kristen Koltik is learning some lessons you can't get from a book. She's a student at Duquesne University, but credit card debt from almost 10 years ago is haunting her.
It was just a credit card that I had gotten as soon as I turned 18. I was working full-time at that point, so I had money to pay the bill. And I lost my job and just was unable to keep paying on it.
Kristen hadn't gotten a bill for the $3,200 she owed in more than 4 years. And when the credit card company went out of business, she thought that was the end of it. But that was just the beginning. Another company purchased the debt, likely for pennies on the dollar. The company called Kristen's sister's father-in-law, who she barely knows, and told him Kristen was being investigated for fraud, and it's urgent she call them.
I was thinking, I haven't done anything that would be considered fraud. I haven't committed any type of fraud. I'm not a criminal.
Attorney Jeffrey Suher, who works exclusively on bad debt collection cases, says this was the first violation of Kristen's rights. According to the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, debt collectors are not allowed to disclose to someone else anything other than a phone number to call.
The debt collectors, they spit on the law. It's a federal law that we're dealing with. They spit on it.
Next, the debt collector told Kristen she had criminal charges pending. She could serve jail time. She was being sued for 3 times the amount she owed, and her credit would be ruined forever. She offered to pay on a plan, but they refused.
Fear. You have no idea what they're going to do next, how far they're going to take it. I was told that because I lived with my boyfriend, even though he paid for everything and everything is in his name, that they would come to my house and conduct a sheriff's sale of his belongings. I mean, I was just receiving so many threats.
Suher says this can also be illegal. Debt collectors are not allowed to use abusive or profane language or make idle threats.
They don't care about paying back the debt. They don't care about you. They don't care about how you treat someone. And they just feel that they have carte blanche to go ahead and abuse people, treat them in quite frankly, in an inhumane way.
Then the collector called her boyfriend's work line at the home they share about 20 times that night and the next day. Suher says that also may be a violation. Federal law prohibits repeat calling to the point of harassment. The calls finally stopped, but now another company is texting her about the same debt. The case is still open. Suher may sue. He says usually the debt collectors don't have enough evidence to go to trial and will settle for a fair amount or just go away.
You feel like because I did incur this debt at some point, so it's my responsibility, and I felt like I had no rights.
But federal law does protect everyone from these bad debt collectors.
The problem is not enough people know that it exists, and the collectors know this, and they prey on people's lack of education in this area.
Now, Suher doesn't take any payment unless he collects money for you from the debt collector. He says whatever you do, do not give a collector your bank account information, even a check which has your routing number. He's seen people have their identity and money stolen. He also says beware of debt forgiveness. You could have to pay taxes on money you never even paid.